All right, welcome to another episode of the Leverage Podcast. It is my pleasure to welcome a top real estate agent who is based in beautiful Washington State, Mason County specifically. She's had a very diverse career, has found success in this area, and also has a very interesting YouTube channel that helps folks both inside and outside of Mason County understand what this area is all about. Kristine Anderson, thank you for joining me on the Leverage Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to have you here and dig into your background. But first, let's dig into what makes Mason County a great place to buy a home.
Yeah. Mason County is in Western Washington, and we are still one of the more affordable pockets in Western Washington where you can still get a home, potentially acreage, and some of the most affordable waterfront. And honestly, Mason County is very large geographically, so you have a lot of different pockets of if somebody's looking for an HOA and a golf course, they can have that. But if you want that rural living and to feel completely isolated, you can also have that too. So it kind of grabs a whole diverse group of both buyers and people relocating out here.
Absolutely. I'm curious, there's a lot to enjoy about Mason County, of course. But for you personally, what is your favorite thing about the area?
I love our access to water. So I actually live on Harstein Island, and I just love passing that bridge every day. Like there's something somewhat like relieving and magical about just crossing a bridge that's just so beautiful and the water's so peaceful. And just being able to walk along water and do the clamming and get oysters and go out on the boat. And there's so many lakes. I mean, depending, I have kids, and it's like spin the wheel for which lake you want to swim at today, and
Cool.
Lots of opportunity there. And I think that's kind of my favorite coming out of the city about 12 years ago now, 13 years ago. It was a really big adjustment. But it was one that really helped us kind of take a breath, slow down a little bit, and just be able to enjoy life a little more.
Absolutely. I think especially with little ones, it's always nice in this day and age to be able to get the kids outdoors, away from the devices, and enjoy the beautiful weather and the amenities in the area. Now, Kristine, you've had a very diverse career leading up to your real estate career. You've been a teacher, a principal, a fitness instructor, a case manager, and now a realtor. Take me through this career path and help me understand, what parts of these various stops helped you really prepare for a career in real estate.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I wasn't actually a principal. That was so, and that probably comes up because being in a dance company. So, I danced my whole life. I went to college for business, found out I was not doing anything with business. I was just dancing. So I changed everything up, and long story short, ended up with my Master of Fine Arts in dance from lovely Mills College. So I'm a Mills College alum, performed in multiple companies and casted my own productions and choreographed. And anyway, 13 years ago, when I moved up here, I retired from that and just went to teaching. And throughout all of that, as most artists will know, is that you have to have a second job. So alongside doing what I love and spending all my time doing that, like nights, I would be working at restaurants, right? So I was always in hospitality. And so when I moved up here and COVID hit, I found that hospitality, I was still in hospitality, and it worked for me. I was up at a country club here, Lake Limerick Country Club, and I was running the front of house for the private restaurant there. That's for members only. And this is actually how I got into real estate. Everything happens for a reason, and you just have to trust that you're on the right path. Like when it feels right, you're on the right path. And I'm kind of segueing, I think, but so I will, if you want me to stop there, I can, or
No,
I can
go,
continue to
keep
tell
going,
how.
keep going.
Yeah. Okay. So then, my grandma had recently passed away, and I just felt like some big shifts happening. It really affected me. And one day I'm getting ready for work and I get these chills all up my arms. And I'm like, something, I tell my husband, I was like, something's going to happen. There, like what I'm doing right now is not what I'm going to be doing in the fall. And this was like
Hmm.
in the spring. I was like, okay, I was like, no, something is really happening. So I go to work. One of my regular patrons, Brenda Bakken, and her husband were there. It was a Saturday night and it was dead except for them. And so we had all this kind of time to just talk, the two of us. It was a very weird Saturday. It's never dead, like just with one table.
Hmm.
And she just had the gumption. She says, because she was a realtor and very successful. And she says, Kristine, have you ever thought about getting into real estate? And I was like, this is it. This is what's happening. Like this was the goosebumps I knew was
Huh.
coming. Right? And I said, yes, I have. I was like, my family, my parents were not in real estate, but both the sides of my grandparents and my uncles and aunts, I mean, everyone is in real estate. It just skipped my parents. They probably got like
Hmm.
obviously burned out and had wanted nothing to do with that.
That can
Um,
happen with any career your parents have, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I said yes. And literally like 3 days later, I was sitting in her family room with her and we were going through what it would look like. 3 months later, I was actually working and had gotten my license already and was actively had quit my job.
Wow.
So and transition. So I was like, when I make a decision, I'm driven by that decision and I'm gonna make it happen. Right.
Yeah.
And I just knew everything made sense at that point. I was like, and being a realtor, you work with so many people. And I had a lot of people doubting me, I will say. I had people say, like, oh, well, like this is the worst time to get into real estate. And oh, like you only get commissions, like anyway, all of this doubt. But I just went with it. I just felt it. And my husband supported me 100% gung ho all the way. I
That's
had also
amazing.
just had my little guy. So we now have, right now at this time in summer 2026, I have an 11-year-old and a 5-year-old. And at the time he was just a wee baby.
Yeah.
So it was a big shift and a big leap for the family.
Yeah. Well, I have an 11-year-old as well, and so I can relate to
Yeah.
what a fantastic age that is.
Yeah.
Really enjoying the independence while not yet being a teenager. So I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah. That interim is real.
100%, yeah,
Yeah.
enjoying this chapter while it lasts. Now,
Yeah.
so people were doubting this decision. Now, were any of the people who were doubting this decision real estate agents themselves or entrepreneurs themselves?
No.
Yeah. That's an
Yeah.
interesting. I posted on my Instagram story today. There's a Dan Martell. He's a great author and a great helping people understand how to buy back their time and all that stuff. And he posted something about, most of the criticism that comes from folks who are stepping out on their own comes from people who are too scared to do it themselves.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And another
Yeah.
slogan I love is don't take criticism from people you wouldn't go to for advice.
Mm.
Which is a good one. Which maybe you would go to these
Yeah.
people for advice, but it's so different when you haven't stepped out on your own and people are saying, "Well, you know this." I'm curious, what was the feedback you were getting from people inside the real estate industry apart from your friend who was really encouraging you?
Honestly, I didn't really know anyone in the real estate industry except for Brenda, who became my mentor. And she just saw so much potential in me. She kept telling me, she's like, "Oh, you're going to be amazing. Oh, one day you're going to be a managing broker. Oh, like you've got this. You are just perfect for this." And she
Yeah.
saw something in me. Um yeah, and so she took me by the hand, mentored me all the way. I would say, in Mason County, it's a very kind of close knit realtor group. Everyone kind of knows everyone because it is rural and smaller. And I think that when I came out of the gate with such success, I don't know that I had like skepticism from everyone, but everyone was kind of like, oh, there's a new realtor. Oh my God, there's a new realtor. Like, and my name started being everywhere. I think my first year I closed 30 homes.
Wow. First year. That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. In a rural community for sure. Yeah. My second year I closed, I think 36. And last year I closed 46 sides, not homes individually, but 46 sides. And this year I'm on track to be over 50.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you found immediate success, and then obviously you've continued your growth since then.
Yeah.
Two questions. The first one is, what would you attribute your instant success with?
Yeah, my partner.
Background, your partner. Okay, tell me
Well,
about
and
that.
also, yeah, my background is huge. That's kind of what I was saying. Like in real estate, you work with so many people, different types of people, different personalities, different needs, different stages of life, and that's the hospitality industry, right? Like that's it in a nutshell. Every table that you would have to manage or serve is it's like a real estate
Completely
transaction,
different.
Yeah, everyone's different.
Great
And
point.
as a manager, like all your employees are different. They're at different stages. Like there's different things you have to watch for. I mean, there was so much that just prepared me for being able to work with different people. And I mean, honestly, one of my biggest fears in doing it was I was afraid I was going to miss people. I was like, I'm not going to see everyone every day. Like, but that's just not the case. I work and see with people all the time. So I feel like that was my biggest concern, and it shouldn't have been a concern. But I think, my background definitely prepared me for that, just being the people person, being able to work alongside. And then after that, about a year and a half in or 2 years in is when my mentor, Brenda, retired. However, here's the thing that really, this is why I was saying everything happens for a reason, because I worked at this country club, Lake Limerick Country Club, for, I would say, off and on maybe 6 years. There were like different periods that I was there, maybe 5 years. But it's like a Cheers bar, okay? Everybody knows your name, and everyone knows each other's name. So when like people would walk in, they aren't just your table one or that. They're the McDonald's, so and so. Like everyone is by name. And so because of that, like I do a lot of my business in Lake Limerick today. I think as of today, I have 7 listings, one just sold, just in Lake Limerick. Actually, and that's just of residential. I have vacant land listings too. And a big part of that is because people met me, knew me, trusted me in my role there. They've seen my success and they know I'm doing well. And they also know that they can still trust me. Like there's that presence that just kind of set me up for this whole community just kind of behind my back.
How cool.
And that's something that going into my very first interview there way back when, I would have never imagined how that would kind of pay itself forward.
Yeah. So you had a great mentor, the hospitality, and then the network that you built locally really kind of helped you step in day one and find immediate success. And so then growing that success, would you say it's the result of, doing a great job with folks, referrals, or anything else that you would attribute to the continued growth that clearly is not just, random success at the gate?
Yeah. So after Brenda, my partner, retired, I took the bull by the horn, so to say. I was like, what is every highly successful person doing? And I would listen to them and implement it. I am one that will listen to podcasts the whole time I drive, and I live in a rural area. So when I go to a listing appointment or like to go show buyers, it's like 45 minutes each way type of thing, right?
Yeah.
I am listening to podcasts and learning and growing. And the biggest thing I've learned is that when I hear something and I don't implement it immediately, like that day or the next day, it tends, the excitement of it or like what I remember about it just kind of fades and then I
That
don't
makes
do it.
sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so what I found, like, I went to EXP Con last year, which is EXP's yearly big conference.
Yeah.
And that's where I listened to Mike Sherrard, and he was like all about this YouTube thing, right? And I said, I was like, okay, I'm starting a YouTube channel. And
Yeah.
I didn't start it like the next week, obviously, but that's when I started all of my research. And I set a deadline. I said, by January 1st, I'm launching my YouTube channel. And I set that deadline and I worked towards it. And there we go. I have my YouTube channel, you know. I also had been told at one point that I was the only realtor in Mason County not on social media.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and it was probably true. I had been hacked anyway. It's a whole long story why I wasn't on social media anymore. But literally the next week, let me tell you, was I on social media?
Oh, yeah.
And now it's like I post regularly. I get clients now from my social media. When I go to listing appointments, my sellers ask me, they're like, so what kind of video do you think you would do for our home? You know, and it like becomes part of this
Amazing.
conversation. They're like
Yeah.
excited to see what I'm going to do. And anyway, I just kind of love how, you know, if you tell me something or if I think something's missing, or if I learn about something that I think is going to benefit my business,
Yeah.
oh boy, howdy, am I just going to do it? You know, I'm going to try. And I don't just try for like a month and then it doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, because my social for like the first, I don't know, 4 months was
Mm-hmm.
sad,
Right.
and probably really awkward. Um, but I just, you know, you have to commit and you have to keep with it. I say, I want to try everything for a year, right?
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Yeah, so you're constantly learning. You're very coachable. You're willing to always evaluate how you can improve. And then you're also a stickler personally for getting it implemented right away and sticking with it,
Yeah.
which is a great combination. So, yeah, a lot of times, especially social media, YouTube, these algorithms, it takes a while for these things to start working. And so it's
Yeah.
very common that folks might try something for a minute and they're like, I'm
It
not getting
doesn't
any
work.
views, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
getting followers, but time and consistency
Yeah.
is is a powerful force. Well, I want to get into some specifics around the YouTube channel and exactly what you're doing for social media so our
Okay.
audience can learn from that and understand. But first, let's listen to a commercial from our sponsor, Sphere Rocket.
Business owners and entrepreneurs will place a proven executive assistant VA for just $4 to $8 an hour, and if they don't perform, you don't pay. Imagine freeing up 20 plus hours a week by someone handling your most time consuming tasks like admin work, managing emails, scheduling meetings, and so much more. This one hire could transform your productivity and give you back the time you need to focus on growing your business. At Sphere Rocket VA, we make this possible in as little as 7 days. We'll place a proven executive assistant VA in your business for just $4 to $8 an hour, and your VA will take over day-to-day administrative tasks, help manage your email and calendar, follow up with past clients, giving you back 20 plus hours a week so you can increase your sales and even enjoy more personal time. And here's the best part. If they don't give you back 20 plus hours a week in the first month, you don't pay Sphere Rocket a dime. We've done this for thousands of business owners, and now it's your turn to see the results. Click the link around this video to schedule a demo and discover how this one hire can completely change how you run your business. Remember, if within 45 days the VA doesn't perform, you don't pay.
All right, we are here on the Leverage Podcast, and I have Kristine Anderson joining me today. She's a top EXP agent in Washington, specifically Mason County. And one thing that is very unique about her business is her social media and YouTube approach. So, Kristine, I want to get into some specifics here so our listeners can kind of better understand how they can benefit their businesses as well. So, a few questions. First is, which platforms are you focused on specifically? I know you've got a strong YouTube channel. Are there other social media platforms that you focus on in tandem with the
Yeah.
YouTube?
Instagram and Facebook.
Great. And so share with me, how are you working? Are you working with these kind of in separate silos, or are you making them all work together in a way?
Yeah. So with Instagram and Facebook, it's all the same. I do one post that connects the two of them.
Right, because they're both owned by Meta. So
Yep.
you can,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
join
And
those
so
in
those
ways.
are always the same. And then YouTube is, I mean, that's kind of its own thing. I research what people are searching for, and then I go and try to answer those questions through my videos and
Oh,
give
got it.
and try to give like a comprehensive overlook of the area. But it's not necessarily like what I'm interested in, because I know this stuff, it's like,
Yeah.
I love going to the state parks on Harsine Island, but that's not necessarily what people are searching for. They want to search, they're searching like, what's the difference between living in Timber Lakes and Lake Limerick, And so doing this research, and then I've started throwing in a few home tours in there. Those are a little trickier for me. I mean, it's just like I am still very young on my YouTube channel. I will say that. Young for a YouTube channel. It's 6 months old now, almost 6. Yeah, we're like right at 6 months.
Awesome.
I have a video editor that I've been working with that entire time, and they also help me with, just helping me kind of work out the kinks.
Right.
And then also keeping me on schedule and really helping me understand how important it is to be regular and consistent. Like,
yes.
I mean, that algorithm is unforgiving. Yeah. And it takes time to build. I mean, that's for social as well,
Big time. Yeah. For our listeners, if you are not posting in this regular cadence and also interacting a lot of times on social media, it will, you're not going to be rewarded by the algorithm. But over time, if you continually do those things, kind of helps find your tribe and get people interacting with you. From a logistical standpoint, a lot of real estate agents feel like they don't have time for the social media, or they don't have time for YouTube. I have a friend I was just talking to just the other day, and she's like, John, I need to get my SEO up. I need to, work on my social media, but I don't have time. I've got the administrative tasks. I'm doing home tours as much as I possibly can. Take me through your schedule, for however it makes sense, whether that's a week or whether that's a month. Do you have dedicated time, or are you kind of just still figuring out when it works?
You mean like my schedule for filming and stuff for doing this?
Both your filming, but also with your real estate business coinciding as well.
So my schedule is the most crazy thing. It's never the same. On top of it, during the school year, I do homeschool. My oldest is going into middle school, so I'm not homeschooling him anymore, but my youngest is starting to kindergarten. And so my early mornings, like 8 to 10 during the school year, is for my kids, for their school, at least, and otherwise, during the week, I have to set aside personal time, because otherwise my schedule is completely full. And I book out now. It's a good problem, but I book out like a couple 2 to 3 weeks out at this point. Right.
Yeah.
For my YouTube filming, I do have it in my calendar. I have it as a regular event. However, I always shift it. I always make sure it happens though. And here's the reason why, because, okay, you don't have time in your day. However, if you can dedicate, honestly, I probably spend 2 hours a week on everything, YouTube, social media, all of that, right? Yeah. 2 hours a week, and you have free advertising that is reaching clients while you sleep, while you're on vacation, while you're answering other phone calls. I mean, this is like it's a huge lead source. And so sometimes when I feel that way too, when I'm like, I literally cannot get a video out this week, I make myself do it, because in the long run, I mean, you can just look at how many hours each video is being watched, and those are hours that you are in front of a client, a warm client. These are people
Good
that are
point.
actually seeking and looking. That's huge. Like, what would you do to get 1,000 hours in front of a warm client and in front of many warm clients,
Yeah.
ongoing? It's worth, to me, like, that is worth setting it up as an appointment every week.
Good point. And, I talk to a lot of successful folks, and a consistent thing I keep hearing is planning their day, right? Planning
Hmm.
ahead, having goals and then
Yeah.
milestones and tasks associated. But I think a common myth of people who haven't enacted this themselves is that you can't, it means you can't change the schedule, right? And so in a real
Mm,
estate agent's world, especially homeschooling mom, 2 kids, family, the schedule's going to change, right?
yeah. Oh,
But I think what I'm
100%.
hearing from you is if you create that plan, you create that schedule, you know what to go to next, or you know what to move around, and you're
Yeah.
avoiding this down dead time of not being productive and not being intentional, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Now, for those listening who are saying, okay, 2 hours a week, I can budget this. I totally hear what you're saying. The value is totally there to be in front of your audience, free of charge, really, because you're not
Yeah.
paying for advertisements in this case. But if I'm trying to get started, right?
Hmm.
A lot of people who are listening may be thinking, I don't know what to post. I don't know what to make, but I'm a big believer in just getting started and then
Yeah.
figure it out as you go, because that's when the real learnings begin. What advice would you give to people listening who want to start, but they don't exactly know what to start with?
Yeah. I would say, well, honestly, like, the way that I did it is that I just listened to Mike Sherrard. I was like,
Yeah,
whatever he says. But if I were to recap what he says, it's like he started literally with a bad phone in an unlit place and no script and posted it, right?
yeah,
Um, Everyone, I feel like, will start bad and you get better because you learn and you grow. Like, my
yes,
first ones, I didn't have a good mic. I didn't even use a mic, my first ones, because I
yeah,
was so committed to my schedule and I realized I didn't have a mic yet. And so I just did it. Um, I didn't have lighting. And um, I think the biggest thing for me, though, is that I only spend 2 hours on it because I am very busy and I am not about to now learn how to edit videos on top of being a real estate rock star. Like,
good point.
that's not where I'm going. And so I pay to have someone edit my videos because time is money.
Yeah,
If I were to do that one, it wouldn't look as good. I would spend all week. I'd probably spend 40 hours trying to get one video and I'd get frustrated and quit. So, like, those things that
100%.
that is not your forte. I am a big proponent on, delegate, or, what's the word? Delegation, right?
Absolutely.
Delegate that task and get someone who is a professional in that to do it.
That is great advice. I think so many of us who have so much on our plates, or the reason why we're having so much trouble is we're trying to do everything.
Yeah.
And so it's a good point to really prioritize, what do I do best, or what is the highest value that I add to my business? And then where can I delegate out? I heard somebody say one time to me early on, I used to have my own consulting business and was a solopreneur for a while. And she said, John, because I was very concerned about hiring and adding that cost to my
Hmm.
business, right? Because if I just have to cover me, I can figure that out. And I had kind
Yeah.
of this scarcity mindset at the time. And she said, John, whatever your preferred amount that you're going to make, like, figure out your hourly rate. So let's say, just if you want to make
Yeah.
$100,000 an hour, just for a simple round number, that's $50 an hour, roughly. And so every task you are doing you're essentially paying $50 an hour to have that done.
Yeah.
And that was really mind-opening. Like, wait, would I spend 50 hours for video editing? Would I spend 50 hours for going through my email inbox? Would I spend
Yeah.
50 hours to get appointments booked? I'd spend that 50 hours on, the housing tour or well, I was in real estate, but you
Yeah.
get it. The
Yeah.
thing that I uniquely add value to. And it's amazing when you take those steps, how much the business grows, and then you're going to find yourself freed up for other things as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, going back to the Instagram and Facebook part of it, at first I would plan those things out because I was so nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just got really comfortable. There comes a point where you no longer really, or for me, I've heard this of other people too, but that you no longer really care what it is you look like. You don't do all these multiple shots. I mean, I will literally shoot a video doing what I'm doing. The other day, I had to put in CO2 detectors to pass an appraisal for my listing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, here we go. So I set up my camera. I don't even think about it. I'm just videoing me putting on these CO2 detectors. And that became one of my posts for the day, And it's like,
Also,
I mean, taking down my signs, putting them in my car. I film all these little snippets. And so I never go out of my way to make a social post. And then my editing has become pretty quick. And so it's like, it becomes this non-time consuming thing, even though at the beginning there's all these learning curves and there's lots of steps and you have to, you just kind of get used to it and it becomes quicker, just like anything,
Yeah, I think a learning for the audience there is oftentimes we don't realize how much we're doing that creates interesting content.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we don't think it's interesting because it's what we do all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also I would point to, you made this point as well, is you can't create a video with content you didn't capture.
Yep.
And so while you don't have to do the post of putting the sign in, because you might look at it later and be like, no, that's not what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But you can't have that sign clip if you don't film yourself doing the sign.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's and then you'll there's times where I grab things from a month ago, I'll just scroll through and I'm like, oh yeah, that looks interesting. And I'll throw that on there with something relevant, even answering questions, what's the average days on market right now? And it's me literally walking on a beach, and it gets so many views and people comment and
And to be able to draw in your potential clients through those comments and then already begin that early conversation, then get to, hey, why don't we sit down and talk more about your specific needs?
Yeah.
Now, Kristine, I know you do a lot of relocation with folks. Mm-hmm. And so curious with your expertise on that, what are some of the most common mistakes people make when they are relocating, maybe specifically to Mason County?
Yeah. I think some relocation buyers look at Mason County from afar and they start their research and they feel like, oh, let's go up and look at houses. And then they'll schedule tours with me and you can drive an hour in each direction or more across Mason County.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm like, okay, let's really look at what it is you're wanting in these homes, because they will be in vastly different locations, not something really doable for a day's home tour, and just having a realistic approach. So I always say, for my relocation buyers that don't already have that location or neighborhood set in their mind, to take time. A lot of them come up, they'll have an Airbnb for a few days and then take that time to feel out the pace of life in different areas. That has been make or break for purchasing in certain areas versus others. Now, not everyone can afford, taking a vacation and an Airbnb to figure out if they like this place, but those who can, it's worth it. Some of my relocation buyers are more relocating just because they want to purchase a home and they're outpriced everywhere else. And So they look at, so they look at where can I afford that home, and they just buy it.
Yep.
And then after they've moved in, they're like, oh, if I would have known X or Y, or, oh, if I would have known about that place, I probably would have looked there, So sometimes it's like, don't just focus. Yeah, buying a home is always expensive. And yes, you have to look at prices. But I feel like really giving time to vet a neighborhood or a location and do all that research, like boots on the ground, is important.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is fantastic advice. I have just a couple more questions for you as we round out this great episode with you. Now, you did find very quick success in real estate, and for the reasons that we expressed earlier, and you've continued to grow your business. But there's always things that we would tweak or that we wish we knew when we were starting out. Question for you. If you were to go back to day one of when you did step into the real estate industry and gave your former self some advice, what would that advice be?
I think I didn't know that there were no limits. I had never worked for myself before. And I had never worked in an industry where there are no limits. And that was like a foreign I didn't think about that until probably the beginning of my third year. I just kind of was like, drinking from a fire hose there for that first year, because it was a whirlwind and it was so much learning that I don't think I probably could have thought of anything else, honestly. But just know that there are no limits. It's only you are only limited by what you allow yourself to do, really, and the time in the day. And then that goes back to the point, like, don't be afraid to bring someone on to help delegate those roles that you can let go of,
Right.
It was kind of like, I have someone now who I brought on to help be my showing agent or sit at inspections, help with my staging, like all of these little things that are big time commitments, or can be, that can take some big chunks of time out of my day. And I feel okay with delegating them to her and know that my business is still going to continue the way it's going.
That's great advice. I heard a quote recently, and it was something like, successful people spend money to save time. Less successful people spend time to find how to save money.
Yeah, interesting.
Because that really opened my mind, because we really devalue what our time is.
Yeah.
Right. And so if I think about, I think about some family members and I'm like, wow, so-and-so really takes a lot of time to make sure that these extra pennies aren't spent, and it's important to stay within a budget, of course.
Yeah.
But it's really important. It's so eye-opening when you do get that help to see all that's opened up.
Yes.
And
and a lot of time, and then, like, in your own business, that opening up allows you to grow your business more.
That's right.
I mean, that's how I see it. It's like, okay, now I have more time where, and that's exactly what's happened this year. This year I didn't go into this so much, but prior to this year, I was buying leads through Zillow. And that was for my third or my second and third year. And after EXPCon in October, I said, okay, no more. I am going to be in charge. Like, I didn't want to depend on someone else for clients anymore. I wanted them to come to me. And that was part of the YouTube. That was part of the Instagram, Facebook. And now I have not paid for a single lead in a year. And I am more successful than I was, and part of that, though, is because I have my time. I have that little extra time, and I'm putting it all back into the business and being there for people who are actually here looking right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of time with those little kiddos.
Oh my gosh, that's built into my day. I didn't go into my schedule so much. My schedule's crazy, but it's built in. My 3:00 appointment was swimming in the lake.
Amazing.
But that's an appointment with my kids. I mean, you have to have that, there's times where, because if I didn't, like, what's the point? What's it all for?
100%. Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
somebody say you got to make your business work for your life rather than your life working for your
for your
business, which
business. Yep.
we can forget that often. Well, let's give you one more opportunity to gain some more leads. So, last question for you, Kristine Anderson, is for those looking for a home in the Mason County area, how can they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. The easiest way is to call or text me, 360-229-6772. Always check out my YouTube channel. It's Living in Mason County, same as my website, livinginmasoncounty.com. And that has all of my direct contact on it as well. All of my YouTube videos do. So yeah, and I'd love to answer questions about Mason County, even if it's like new on your radar and you're like, what's going on in Mason County? Because we are one of the fastest growing micropolitans in not only Washington State, but in the United States right now. And a lot of that is about the more affordable housing that we offer in Western Washington. So a lot of people are learning about it. And as you know, things can change. So make sure to reach out and I'll answer all those questions.
Absolutely. Well, Kristine, I really appreciate your time joining me today and all the insights on your real estate background and
Yeah,
especially on YouTube and social media. Thank you again for joining me today on the Leverage Podcast.
great. Thank you so much.
All right.